The elevator doors closed with a quiet metallic sound. It was just another normal moment in a normal day for everyone else, but not for her. Victoria Hale stood inside, dressed in a sharp black suit, confident, powerful, untouchable. She was a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar tech empire. Her decisions moved markets. Her words created millionaires. Her time was more valuable than most people's lifetime earnings. Her phone was in her hand, and her fingers moved fast across the screen. Email, reply, approve, reject. Her assistant had sent her the schedule for the day. 12 meetings, 2 investor calls, 1 acquisition decision worth $400 million. Her face showed no emotion. This was normal. She didn't notice a repairman standing quietly in the corner. He wore a simple gray uniform, holding a small metal toolbox. His clothes were clean, but old. His face calm, peaceful. He wasn't looking at his phone. He wasn't in a hurry. He was just standing there. The elevator began moving upward. Floor 12, floor 13, floor 14. Then suddenly, the elevator jerked violently. The lights flickered, and everything stopped. Complete silence. Victoria's body stiffened. She looked up immediately. Her fingers pressed the open button. Nothing. She pressed it again. Harder. Nothing. She pressed the emergency button. Still nothing. Her breathing became slightly heavier. Not panic, but discomfort. She wasn't used to losing control. She looked at her phone. No signal. For the first time in years, she was unreachable. She whispered to herself, "Unbelievable." Then she noticed him. The repairman stood calmly, as if nothing had happened. She looked at him directly. Why did it stop? He looked at her, his eyes steady. Because elevators stop sometimes. She frowned slightly. Well, fix it. He nodded gently. I will. But he didn't move immediately. Instead, he asked her something unexpected. Are you in a hurry? She almost smiled in disbelief. Do you know who I am? He shook his head softly. No. She straightened her posture. I run this company. Thousands of people work under me. Every second matters. He listened carefully, then asked quietly, Does every second matter to you or to your work? She didn't answer. No one had ever asked her that before. He crouched down slowly and opened the elevator panel. Victoria crossed her arms. She was irritated, not because of the elevator, but because of the waiting. Waiting felt like weakness. Seconds passed in silence. Then he spoke again, without looking at her. You look tired. She reacted immediately. I'm not tired. He nodded gently. Your eyes say something different. She felt something strange inside her chest. A small discomfort. Not physical. Emotional. She ignored it. I didn't ask for analysis. I asked you to fix the elevator. He smiled faintly. I'm fixing it. His hands moved slowly, precisely. No rush. No stress. She watched him. His calmness bothered her. How could he be so relaxed? Didn't he understand her importance? Didn't he understand her urgency? Then he asked another question. When was the last time you sat in silence? She answered immediately. I don't have time for silence. He nodded. Silence is time for you. She didn't understand what he meant, but his words stayed in her mind. The elevator was quiet. No phone. No noise. No meetings. Just stillness. She suddenly became aware of her own breathing. Inhale. Exhale. She couldn't remember the last time she noticed that. He spoke again. Do you love your life? She froze. That question hit deeper than she expected. She had money, power, respect. But love? She answered carefully. I built everything I wanted. He looked up at her. That wasn't my question. She stayed silent. Because she didn't have an answer, he returned to his work, then said something softly. Sometimes people spend their whole lives building everything except themselves. Her throat felt dry. She didn't know why his words affected her. He was just a repairman, just a stranger, but his presence felt different, grounded, real. Then suddenly, click, he adjusted one small component. He stood up. Done. Exactly 60 seconds. The elevator hummed back to life. The lights became steady. The machine was alive again. Victoria blinked. That's it. He nodded. That's it. She asked, what was wrong? He replied calmly. Nothing was broken. It just needed alignment. Those words echoed in her mind. Nothing was broken. It just needed alignment. The elevator began moving upward again. Floor 18, floor 19, floor 20. She looked at him differently now, not as a repairman, but as someone who understood something she didn't. She asked softly, "What's your name?" He answered, "Daniel." She nodded slowly. "Thank you." He smiled gently. "You're welcome." The elevator reached her floor. The doors opened. Her assistant was standing outside, worried. "Ma'am, are you okay? We've been trying to reach you." Victoria stepped out slowly, but before the doors closed, she looked back at Daniel. He stood there calmly, peacefully, not chasing anything, not proving anything, just existing. The doors closed, and he disappeared, but his words stayed with her. That night, Victoria sat alone in her luxury penthouse. The city lights filled the windows. Everything she owned, everything she built, everything she achieved, but something felt different. She sat in silence. No phone, no laptop, no distractions, just herself. She asked herself the question again. Do I love my life? Tears formed in her eyes, not because she was weak, but because she was honest. For years, she had been fixing businesses, fixing systems, fixing problems. But she had never fixed her own alignment. She had everything, but she had never felt present. The next morning, her assistant noticed something unusual. Victoria wasn't rushing. She wasn't stressed. She wasn't reacting. She was calm. She listened more. She spoke less. Weeks passed. Her company didn't slow down. It became stronger. But more importantly, she became stronger, not as a CEO, but as a human being. Years later, during a global interview, she was asked, "What was the most important moment of your success?" People expected her to mention billion-dollar deals, historic decisions, powerful moments. But she said something unexpected. "The most important moment of my life was when I got stuck in an elevator." The interviewer laughed slightly. She didn't. She continued, "A repairman fixed the elevator in 60 seconds. But in that same moment, he fixed me." She paused, then said, "He taught me that nothing was broken. I was just out of alignment." She looked into the camera and said, "Sometimes life stops you, not to punish you, but to realign you. Because success is not about moving fast. Success is about moving right. And sometimes the smallest pause creates the biggest transformation." If you understood this story, then you understand something most people never understand. Not everything that stops you is your enemy. Sometimes it's your greatest teacher. And sometimes the person who fixes your life is the one the world ignores.